So for this page, I actually want to play around with some tearing. A fun thing that I did on this page, let me grab it really fast, which actually happened by accident. I teared the corner and put the camera through, and I thought that would be kind of cute along that same lines with the cactus. So I'm gonna play around with that. Now, I'm not gonna quite be able to visualize when you do some techniques like this, so hopefully it turns out well. And it is a little scary because this paper is so cute, of course, and we always get worried about what paper we're using. So I have just a couple last pieces. Actually, I'm right at the end of this kit, so this is my last page I'll probably get, and then hopefully I'll get a couple cards, but that's all I have left. So I'm kind of working with what I got. Okay, so to make this happen, I have to tear. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start, I think I'm gonna start by cutting that corner. Now I do have some of these left, which I'm probably gonna have to really utilize some of these back patterns. So let me check and see really fast what I have so I can keep those in mind. Will the cactus fit on that? Because I do think a green cactus, I mean, you could do a blue cactus, whatever, but it'd be cute. And then if I do cards, those might work good for cards. I'm gonna just stick a couple side just in case I have enough scraps to do those. So probably 2 or 3 cards will be good. So, can't touch this, love grows here. Okay, I'm gonna throw this one just to the side just in case so I don't accidentally cut something that I could possibly use. Okay, now with that said, let's tear this corner. So basically you just tear. Now you're gonna wanna tear slowly so that you can kind of keep the guidelines going, right? And I'm gonna tear the corner off. Okay, and then of course one of the fun things about double-sided is that it has a pattern on the back. So you're gonna wanna pull that up a little, and you can moist it if you want. You know, lick your fingers if you're not afraid of germs, spray something on it, that kind of thing. But yeah, that kind of pattern coming up, you just kind of want it to be really rough looking. Another thing I like to do is I like to tear in a little and then almost like create this like window effect. So there's really no perfect manner to that, but because I did that, I think I want to trim a little bit off here on those corners, right? And then bend those back. Okay, now I need to find what color is going to go on the back and go ahead and adhere that, and then trace out this, and let's start with that. So let's see, what pattern? Oh, I have some green there too. Okay, that could be really cute there. I want to try to do a strip of the cactus up there to pull that up. So I definitely chose this title. It's more orange than this coral color, but look how cute that could pop off of there. And that's what's great. It's definitely nice to add blender patterns with your busy patterns. It allows things to really pop, so keep that in mind. You definitely want to try to keep a good balance of that. Okay, I think I'm liking that orange because I kind of want to go more on those colors for this layout. Okay, so I'm gonna just not do that until I finalize for sure. Well, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and do it. So what I'm gonna need to do is I'm gonna basically cut a square out, and I need to make sure it's over enough on this edge so that when I add adhesive, it has something to stick to. I'm just gonna take my pencil, and I'm just gonna quickly mark, and then I'm just gonna trim this up as well. So I ended up with this square that I'm going to adhere to this. Of course, it's always fun to add some ink just so you can kind of see that that effect of it completely. So let me do that really fast. The other parts aren't going to show, so that's okay. I might even add a little ink on that. Okay. Now, that's kind of fun, right? So I'm just going to add some adhesive to the edges, right? And that's why you wanted to have that overlay as far as the size that you cut this out, so that when you go put it back on, and I want to make sure it's good, so not a good amount of adhesive there. Line that up on the edge, line it up on the bottom. Right, pull that straight again. And push that down. Okay, so that's gonna be really cute. I'm excited to see how it turns out. So again, my thought was kind of having this come out or tucked in. It's not as quite, is it? See? So you gotta kind of figure out how you can adjust that. But the concept was really fun, so I think I'm gonna still go with it. I like the texture look, and I'll make it work. What if I did it like that? You know, it'd be cute too just to have a cactus like that, and then maybe another one would have been really cute. I'm gonna have to play around with that a little. But the concept is to have something just poking out right there. Okay, so now this is where, again, I can't really see it until I do it. I wanted to kind of add the tear effect up here as well. So I'm gonna have to add some behind layers. Now I do have these two pictures, and this is where it's kind of hard until I get my tearing done to kind of see the full effect of how to really emphasize these pictures, whether it should be down here, here with, you know, some elements around it, maybe like one of these, something. We'll figure it out, but I wanted to do the tearing first. So what I'm gonna do is, I know my pictures have to be about there. So again, I'm actually gonna use this to help me make sure I'm staying semi-straight when I tear. And I want to bring it down because, again, you're going to lose a little paper. Okay. So let me go ahead and draw a line and tear, right? And as far as the pencil line goes, you are going to be, well, I'm going to be, again, folding it back to get that color popping from the background. So just really slowly, just guide it with my back fingers are actually guiding it on that. Right, so right there. Okay, so now I have that. I'm gonna pull it back. And now I have to try to get back to a 12 by 12 piece of paper. But it will be really fun just to kind of change it up. And I do this occasionally with layouts that I do, just because it does take some little bit of more of, I guess, brain power or, you know, effort on your part. But it is fun, so hopefully, you know, this video motivates you to kind of maybe do something you naturally wouldn't have done. So, all right. Now, let's go ahead, and I took this much off, so I'm gonna measure that, actually, and it needs to be a little bit more. So you know what I'm gonna do to help me with the guideline? This is just a scrap of paper that I have. I'm gonna go ahead and cut that label off, but then this way I have a 12 by 12 piece of paper underneath to allow me to make those judgment calls really quickly. So I'm just gonna put that on there so that I can see exactly what I'm looking like I need to do here. Okay, perfect. So then, as far as what papers I want up here, now I can see, okay, maybe that much. Okay, if I do that, I was thinking I could still add a border behind because that could be really cute. I could even add a border up and then maybe do another ripple going out this way. But you know what? I think that might be too much. So I could do that with a cactus there and the focus there. Or I could do the cactus on the border, because what am I gonna do the border with? Let's try layering that really fast. So that's what this looks like layered on top of that, which is not bad. I mean, again, it's a little bit different than I normally do, but I'm kind of going for it this time. Okay. I don't think that does anything, so I'm not gonna do that. Now, for the sake of just trying it out, I'm gonna see what it looks like layered the other way. So let's say this was our background paper. Okay, and then this was on top of it. Oh, you almost lose the cactus, see? It's almost like you see less of the cactus, because that would be this border right here. Not loving it. Okay, so we're gonna go back. We're gonna go back to this cactus, and I need to get it lined up on my 12 by 12 sheet. There we go. And down at the bottom. And then either we're gonna do, this is all I have left, this one, which is fun, or that. Now I do have actually this piece left over from what I tore, right? So I could get the border out of that. And it does have more of those masculine colors. Okay, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna just start with the cactus, and then we'll get the cactus adhered down, and then we will figure out the rest. So same concept, that's why I'm using this 12 by 12. Again, you could measure and all of that stuff, but this is kind of my I don't know, my thought process as I was doing it. Trying to think of simple ways that I could accomplish it, and not too worried about perfection. So again, you're gonna need to add some depth here so that you have pieces to, you know, adhere it. So let me go ahead and cut that out. And I'm just gonna cut on where I made that line. Right? And you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and ink it before I adhere this part down. So I'm just gonna ink the edges that show. The bottom's not gonna show, so I don't need to ink that bottom. Okay. And we're gonna add some adhesive. Now, I might have to pull it up a little when I throw my border in, but I wanna, and that's what's great about this adhesive is it's strong and you know, it lasts. So there's nothing worse when you get to your scrapbook and it's falling apart because you don't, I don't know, you have cheap adhesive, right? So it, like 5 years later, you open your book and all the pieces are falling off. I have not experienced this, and I've been using it 10 years or so, and that has not been the case. Also, it's great because it is not so permanent that you can't pull it up and adjust where needed. Okay, so I'm gonna pull that down. I'm gonna go ahead and tuck this in, align that like so, and we're just gonna go ahead and push that down. Perfect. Okay. I'll probably do a little bit more on that. We'll come back to it. All right, so now as far as that goes, go on to add it or not add it? Add it or not add it? Okay, those cactuses are really cute. I think I'm gonna add it. I kind of like the extra layer. Just gives it a little bit more like interest to the layout. Okay, so this is where I have to decide. I liked the brown, but I also did like this because it just was a fun to have those two patterns layered together. I'm gonna go with this one, so I'm gonna go ahead and trace that out. Move that to the side. I'm going to trace this one out, and I'm not, because I'm doing a one-pager, I'm not doing side A, side B, so I just need to do that one, which means when I go to cut it out, I actually have to work with the full sheet, but that's okay. It's not preferable in the sense of what we recommend is that you just take the A and the B and you line them up and then you do a straight cut and then cut once up the middle. But because I'm down to the last pieces of paper and I'll have no use for that other side, I want to make sure to conserve every piece of paper to the use that I need it for. Okay. So let's see what that looks like. And with any patterns that you stick on top of each other, this is why inking is so great, because it will allow you to get a full effect of how busy it will be. But this inking really tones the patterns down, especially when layering on top of each other, and allow each pattern to pop off of each other. So this is why in this case I want to make sure I ink it to get the full effect. Okay. Kind of fun. All right, so now that I kind of have my situation of the page, so now see, this is where I'm going to have to tuck it in. So I might have to do some adjustment again, but I'm just going to pull that up. Actually, I'm going to add some adhesive. So it's kind of like putting a puzzle together when you start tearing your pages apart. But this way I'm using, you know, one. You could do a full 12 by 12 behind another 12 by 12, but I don't know if that's needed. I feel like you would just waste a 12 by 12 sheet of paper. So in this case, actually, I guess it would have been good to do this one first. So learn from me. I probably shouldn't have adhered that bottom one down first. I should have done this one. Right? And I hope as you watch this that you realize that it's not a matter of, and half of the time you see designers, they all kind of have, it looks all finished and complete and you think, oh wow, you know, how did they do that? But sometimes it takes a little manipulating to get the look that you want. Okay, so now I need to add it here to the top. So if you do this, we're not going to adhere the back piece yet because that wasn't needed. But of course, I think I was just excited to see what it looked like. All right, okay. Line that up, push pressure down, perfect. Line that up. Okay, so I'm gonna give everything a good little push to make sure it's all attached there. Also to make that color come through a little bit more on that. Okay, then I don't need this piece now. I think I'm good. So now it's to just playing with some accents and embellishments, see what we can come up with. So I definitely think that's cute coming out the edge. And I think I could even use some pop-up on that. But even I could do, no, it's not the same effect. You can see this could even be cute up there. Okay, well, Arrows is this month's featured set. So let me see what we have here. Right, let me see. An arrow here. It's kind of a fun arrow. But what are you pointing to? Not that it always has to point to it. Something. I actually don't think it always has to. Arrows are just a good, like flowers, arrows, brackets, you know? They're just a good go-to. Okay, so this is kind of cute and could work. I'm trying to think what else I have. Love grows here. It's kind of cute. Stand tall. Be proud. You are amazing. Okay, so I do have these cards that I can definitely try to pull in. I mean, it would be a lot of word focus, but it's not that these don't work. I think that could be really cute. I'm not loving the square thing, so I'm trying to think how I can get that into more of a shape. What what if I cut that smaller and had that there, and then maybe no. It kind of takes away the focus. See how if I add too much, then it almost, more is not always better, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So I just, even though it was a good idea, I'm not quite sure it's working. I mean, I could put it up here, but see, again, I feel like your focus goes elsewhere instead of overall just kind of getting this complementary blend throughout the whole page. Your focus of your pictures and your design, complementing that. So, I feel like I'm gonna have to cut some pieces out. And sometimes you have to with things like this. I have to cut it out to kind of see what is going on. I wanted to find this other arrow. And there's the other arrow. All right, let's get back to playing here. Let's see what we can do. I kind of think that's cute. You know, I really thought I was going to start by having that corner be where the cactus is, but I'm kind of thinking 2 cactuses up here could be really cute. So either I need to find, or just let that be an accent, or I need to find a purpose for that, and what kind of element could go in it that would complement the rest of this. Now, in this month's kit, in the Kiwi Clove, we also have this really cute arrow, of course, and then I still have a few of these dots left that coordinate, and that's a lot of fun. So what I'm thinking is, I think this would be really cute on there. I want to kind of accent, because again, I'm down to the last, so at this point I'm kind of wanting to just, you know, not feel resisted in what I use, because this is pretty much my last thing, and then I'll go to scraps and make a couple cards with these, but I already did all my other layouts. Okay, let's see, if the arrow's a color, what color would you be? What do I have left here, right? I have the green, that doesn't, it's not too bad with what's going on. I have some of that left. The blue's really cute. I'm not quite sure I'll have enough blue for the arrow. Let's see. Okay, I might have to adjust it a little, but I could get that out of that. I could get an arrow out of that. So I'm going to put that there. And for the sake to help me visualize, I mean, I could put the arrow in this, but again, I feel like what it's doing, see how competitive that is? So that's why you really want to take advantage of the blenders we put with the patterns in the kit. It's super helpful. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut this out, and I'm gonna, because I have this sheet, I did have a piece of green on one of these. But because of that, I'm gonna use this. I'm trying to think, because if I do cards, I'm gonna need the scraps for cards, and I want to do cards. So to make the most of this kit, you know what, I'm gonna use this then, just to be safe. Because I'm running out of paper at this point, so these are other extra ones, which you absolutely could save. I just want to make sure that I leave room for other things to make the most of this kit. Okay, so these cactus tops, you can do them with tops attached here, or you can just cut them off depending on what mood you're in, really. So I'm gonna do one each way just so we can see what the difference looks like. But that's why we included them at the top, so that those that want them to cut them out can, and those that prefer not to have the option to just take them off. So I am going to do one of each on this layout though, to give you the look of what that might look like. Okay, so see, on these ones you got to go a little bit slower, right? but they do add a really fun detail to the cactus. That's why we kept them, knowing that they would be a little bit more detailed for some. Now, I actually just totally not perfect on that one, but guys, it's okay. You are going to ink that and nobody will know the difference, promise. Especially on a cactus, they're not like so uniform and perfect. Does that make sense? So if I was going to not do them, then what I would do is just when I was cutting it, right, I would have just snipped right off of that. So again, I'll show you an example here of that in a minute when we get to cutting out another one. So with these, I kind of want to ink the edges just really fast to make sure that I don't need to do any touch up with the cutting or something, but see how, even though it's not like so perfect, it's okay. So if we did two up here and we layered them together, it's almost like a cactus hugging a cactus, right? They look like they're macho men. Okay, I'm gonna have to play around with that. Let's see. Let's cut the arrow out. So just to make sure my options are correct, I have this blue option, that option. The only thing I'm struggling with is that orange with it. Not that it's bad, I just trying to wrap my head around it. Okay, it does help the pictures kind of pop a little bit more, focus on them. The blue does blend a little bit more, and that one pops. I'm gonna go with this one, actually. So make sure that when you cut things that you're keeping them to the edge of your paper to make the most efficient use of your paper. And in this case, you do want to trace it on the color that you want. So I just want to make sure that I had that right. Okay. So let's go ahead and cut that out. And again, thinking ahead, not spending much time thinking ahead, but you know, another advantage to not using this was this is a cute pattern and I might want to touch of that on my cards. So that is also a nice factor to keep in mind. Okay, so I'm gonna go up around this. Again, make most efficient use of my paper, but then I'm trying to detach it. So like that, okay? So that it's easier to cut. Okay, now I could see this being nicely matted to help, again, really put focus on those pictures. Of course, I'm kind of sitting here saying, do I want to use this paper for this? Do I not? We all do that, but again, ultimately, your goal should be what you think is best for what you're working on. Also keeping in mind what other projects or plans that you have for specific paper, especially in the Kiwi Club kits, but just trying to picture that if I want that. It does structure it very well. So let me pull it away so we can see what it looks like. It's not bad. If I do that, then all that leaves me is this paper, some of that, and the pieces of that. Now I'm already gonna have to pull in some cardstock for my card base, and that's perfectly fine in that case. I often don't use cardstock for my background papers. I like having that little bit of interest and texture in the slight pattern that you see in those patterns, so that's why I choose not to do cardstock. Not that I don't do it sometimes, but of course I tend to do more of the patterns that come in the kits for the very purpose that it just creates more interest. But when it comes to cards, I don't mind pulling in some cardstock and things like that. Okay, so let's come back to that. I'm gonna cut out the other cactus because I actually do I didn't even think about it, but I do think it's like two cactuses hugging and it just works perfect for that. So I'm going to see what we can cut this out of. I have that scrap of paper left. I have this one. which really pulls on his shirts there. That's kind of cute. I have that. That doesn't, I think that's going to blend too much. It really doesn't pop. And then I have this one. That's too much heavy on the right. See that? Too heavy on the right. And, okay. So, the orange gives it a rule of 3, which you can look for. So that's not bad, but I do also like the touch of that. I think I'm gonna go with the touch of the blue. Okay, and this one I'm going to actually cut off the top pieces so that we can see what one of each one looks like. Now you can tell it wasn't too bad when I cut them out on the other one, but every cactus is not the same, so we're gonna try it out, right? Okay, so I'm gonna start at the top. And yeah, I traced them out because of just the fact that my pencil can keep going and to not overthink it at the time. It helps just sometimes to get it all out and then to adjust it as you need it. And we can dress these up again with the dots that come in this kit. It could be really fun to dress those up. Okay, so added that back to my page. I am thinking I need to definitely dress up those cactus a little. They need a little attention. So I think the bases need a little dimension. And this is where you can just kind of have fun and play on those. Let's see, I could do one this color. Granted, I don't have much of that color anywhere else, so unless I'm gonna kind of pull that in. Okay, and then, or I can do one this, because it will just be a touch of it. And maybe try one this. The blue I think will blend with this pattern, so it won't pop enough. And the green we already did, so I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna try those, and basically what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna trace the bottom right there on the edge. Okay. And what's on the other side of this? Oh yeah. So let me try one, and then we'll go to the next one and make that decision. Okay, that's not bad. Now you could think maybe add both of them the same color, but I think that won't actually help because it will just look like you can't see the difference, like it's a pot. Because if they're both side by side, it will just look like a circle, really, in some case. So what I'm gonna do is I need to decide what this other color is gonna be. So I think my best bet is to go with this one. So I'm gonna go ahead and trace out the next one. Okay, so we could add this, but then that looks like it's bookend, so I'm not gonna do that. And could use the new arrow from the Kiwi Club kit this month. I've actually used it on some of the other layouts. It's really fun. And I got 2 arrows pointing down. That's pointing into his head. Now what would that one be pointing into his head? Nope. An extra tab is not ever a bad idea. I could put his name and the date on there. Okay, that's cute. It's not bad. Little touch of something. Is it needed? Now some of you might be thinking, oh, that's like a flower for a boy page, but for me, I think it's all about what you cut it out of. And it just kind of comes to be like an accent. But I'm gonna go ahead and pull out tiny accents here so we can play around with that. It does have some fun little extra pieces too that might give us that little bit of more character here up in this corner. It's kind of fun, little burst. I also have a star. Accent actually has two really cute flowers in it, and then it also has these other elements. So it's a very good, I don't know, go-to, everyday go-to, I guess. Gears. I'm kind of thinking the burst. Okay, so let me put that in a pile over there. And I do like the idea of putting his name up there. This is going to allow me to pull down some of those colors over here. So I'm going to do that. I'm not sure I can get this burst out of this, so I need to get some green, and I want to pull down the green and the blue. So the green will help be a light color to write on. So now it's just a matter if I can get this piece in the blue. And it is a corner piece, so it will be tucked in. I think then that will work. So will it work that way? I think this is the best corner. So I'm gonna go with the blue on the green, or the green on the blue. I like the blue on the green. Okay, or the green on the blue. So let me just trace what I can out of that scrap of paper. Okay. Like so. And on these ones, I actually do kind of like one way, and then I go back the other way. So let me get that side. I didn't get that side. There we go. And then I just go clip back the other way. And I'm going to this side because I'm trying to get all my scraps in a pile and not on my page. So I'm not sure you can see over here. Hopefully you can. You can't see the video. But that is how it does that, right? Perfect. Right. That's kind of a fun color there. Make sure I draw to the pictures. I like that. And I'm going to cut a piece out of this, keeping it to the edge of the paper. Make the most efficient use of your paper. Right? And this is going to be tucked in, so I'm not going to be too worried about the bottom edge. Okay. And I'll find something or journal on this or something. It's a good spot for that. A tag would have been even cute. Like we could have done, I mean, I like the this tab, but just for reference, if you don't have tiny charms, but you have tiny tags, do I have tiny tags out? You could have done like, you could do a square, just a piece of paper coming up right there, or like, you know, tags, here they are, just to kind of give you a look at what that would see. So it kind of gives that same effect. Tags 5T and 1T you'll actually see often being used. So those are fun for journaling things and effects too. I like the tags brackets for journaling or anything like that. These are pretty much just shots of him. I wanted to get some of him at age 7. And actually I had to send them to my mom, so she wanted some updated pictures. So that's kind of nice. Because of that, I don't have much journaling, I guess. It's just more documenting him and his age. So that space works for that. All right. Okay, I think that's what I'm gonna go with. And I'm not gonna actually mat them now. I feel like by just adding that extra piece, it pulls the attention to the pictures, just kind of what I was trying to accomplish by possibly matting the whole thing. Now that could be cute to give it depth, but because I only have a few scraps left, I'm not going to use it. But I feel like adding something here, it brought the attention that I wanted to the pictures. So at this point, I'm gonna adhere the rest of the things down, and then I'm gonna play around and see what finishing touches I can do. Well, I'm down to the finishing touches, so what can we do here? I actually have a couple stickers. I could put something there to make it stand out. Go outside and do something you'll remember. Cute. Playful. Cute. Dirty. He's not dirty, but he often is. And, or I could spell his name. Let's see. E. Those are always the first ones to go, right? The vowel E. So that's not gonna work. E-L-I. E-L-I. Okay. Now, there is a fun trick that you could take the words out of these if you need them. So, for example, what are words that I probably wouldn't use often? Every, me. Let's try it. Let's try it together. All right. So I'm going to take the E off of this one. Right. And the L. And I've had these forever, so it's not even that I'm resistant. Oh, I have an L right here, so I should just use the rest of those. So I'm just gonna pull the E, and we'll make this other ones work. And then the I. Actually, I mean, kind of think it would be cute with a lower I. So let's put that back. I'm gonna take the J, and because I kind of want them to be all different sizes because I cut that I out, I'm gonna cut that up a little, right? Okay, and add that. Then I'll probably do a date, Eli, and not to overdo it. I do want something still stuck out of here. I'm gonna have to play with that. Really figure out what it is that I want. Do I want another arrow there pointing to something? I could do some words there so that it's not too competitive. All right, let's try that. Handsome. Let's see. I didn't use that color anywhere. Okay, I'm gonna just test this out. I'm gonna put handsome on a piece of paper. Okay. Just like key words to express things that I think of when I think of him. He is a good, handsome kid, if I do say so myself. All right, so like I could do handsome. Or is that not needed? Not liking it, that's for sure. Because my other thought is I could do it like here, but you kind of always do that. So I think this is kind of different and fun. I haven't really done that before, so I'm gonna go with that. He's super kind. This is true. He's very mindful and thoughtful. And maybe that's because with sisters and he, you know, but truthfully, it's just his nature. Always has been. Okay, I'm thinking that's kind of fun. So, question is, do I pop those up? And I'm kind of thinking, yes. So I'm gonna add some pop-ups. Kind of my go-to essentials, basics that I use often on those. All right, now I need to figure out the last thing as far as I'm concerned is the arrow. So let me put my stickers back, keep the mess over behind me, and let's see. The arrow needs to pop. Green would pop it for sure. Do I have any more of that teal? A little bit of that teal left, a little bit there. Now that could work. Teal, green. that's too much green down there. We're going with teal. Plus we can use this little piece of scrap of paper, right? Perfect. I trim that nose of that arrow down just a little bit because I did notice that it was a little tight. So I just trimmed that nose down a little. As far as the front, right? So you'll see I didn't quite go right on the line that I drew, and I did that on purpose. Okay, ink those edges. Probably should have made sure it worked before I did the effort of inking, but I think it will. Yeah, so just trimming that nose down just a little, make sure it doesn't touch that front. I kind of like the elbow of it, so I want to make sure, which means I might need to pull back a little on this. Now I'm just getting detailed, guys, but we're almost to the finish line. It's only been an hour. Nothing. Usually I can finish a 2-page in an hour and a half or so. But again, sometimes it's just fun to slow down and just work with what you got and give, you know, sometimes that other fun touch like tearing and such. Sewing or anything like that. Not all the time. I wouldn't recommend it all the time, but occasionally when you're in the mood. Okay, the page is final. Clean up my scraps there. And we just need to add a little bit of dots. Thinking something there. Thinking that orange will work nicely up there. So I want to put any on the cactus or on the arrow edge or here. Or is it just too much? Right? Just testing it out. Keeping an open mind to it. A couple minutes to decide. I feel like that up there is like too noticed, but I feel like that, it almost makes it feel like it's hugging it. So I'm gonna try that out. Putting something there. I'm gonna put a medium with a small. And I'm not gonna push them down yet. I don't know about that. I really feel like it might be, well, I guess if you do more of the blender ones, like the color of it, it feels more three-dimensional, I guess. Or does it feel like chicken box? I'm trying to decide. I don't know, it's kind of got like a cutesy modern feel. I don't know if that's even a thing, but just feels kind of, oh boy, I don't know, retro, I guess. It almost needs to be the color of the paper though, because I feel like if I put this one on there, it stands out too much. So I didn't think that through. The only ones I have are down here. So I'm gonna have to adjust those. That's where the green ones go. Okay, ignore that I said chicken pox, because now all of you guys are gonna think when you see them chicken pox, but I do think the texture is kind of fun. It gives it a little bit more dimension. So as far as these ones down here go, I think I'm just gonna go with the orange and almost go the medium size because I felt like the other ones were a little too big. Too much attention. And again, it's just so that it has more like a texture to it, per se. And that's what I think I like about it, is it gives it more of that 3D texture. And we're done. I actually really love it. It makes me smile. It's a little bit different than my other pages, but that's kind of fun. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.